rotation coming over towards mid. Kaka and Faith trying to make something happen, but they're sitting right on top of, well, not right on top of, but are being scattered by a dire observer ward. Fade's going to look for the counter gank, in fact, baiting Freeze, but he TPs it on top of the Radiant ward, and looks like it's just going to end up being nothing for nothing so far on the mid lane.
Oh, man. And you know what? This illusion rune is hurting SCC so much. Like, he can't get a single CS. It's a nuke board.
Gets stunned up. Freeze laying in with those right clicks. And this Triple C probably have to go and tap a shrine in a second. DDC was harassing Mugi a little bit, but now with Kaka arriving in the lane, he's going to go and sit behind his Tiny. Nice decision. Mugi does need to be a little bit careful. Can't afford to get tossed back into the tower. Just get shackled, and I think he would likely die at that point. Maybe VGJ.Thunder is a little bit light on the damage. He does have some one charges.
Oh man, Sala's gonna start pulling ahead in this lane. He went for the quick Aquila, and Aquila is so good against Lifestealer in the lane. It gives you the extra armor, it gives you the attack speed for Tiny. This is one of the items that he definitely needs in the laning phase to deal with the Lifestealer, which counters it pretty much.
Faith gonna aggro the creep pull away here, so resetting the lane position a little bit for his team. KP somewhat low on mana down bottom, does have one more bottle sip, he's gonna be okay. Yang farming nicely, but the puck not too far behind, all things considered. Actually only 1 CS. KP able to just kind of jump away every single time he gets linked, though. This time around he's holding on to it. And we'll just be able to run it off, but 110 damage stolen by Yang. We do have Fade rotating over towards mid. SCC gonna have to be careful. It is nighttime. A little bit difficult to spot this yanking. If he gets the burst spec, they might just grab this kill. Freeze needs to land the follow-up stun. Not gonna go for it, just Laguna blades him, and that's gonna be the end of it.
Oh man, if he went for the stun, they would have definitely gone that kill. I'm a little sad that he didn't go for that. I guess he saw the TP and got deterred immediately, so it was a nice TP rotation by Kaka, or at least a nice TP feint, giving him some presence on SCC. I think they missed the kill there. Regardless, they're going to shrine up now, get their resources back. I wanted to just mention this bottom lane. Generally, you think that Puck is going to port away.
Oh, he's actually got the orb on cooldown. 1 more second. Can he get away? KP jumping out now, and Yang might actually be the one in some trouble. Faith's TPing in, but Yang is pretty speedy. Can he get him with the plasma field? Won't be able to. Still has 14 one charges. Nobody rotating over just yet, and Yang just going to find a little spot in the fog and TP himself all the way back to the fountain.
So traditionally, I think a lot of people think like, oh yeah, Puck's going to be one of those heroes who can kind of increase the gap, right? He can just jump away kind of thing, and the Razor Link is not going to have that effect. The thing is, between the reaction time and all like the speed of the orb and things, like Puck is actually not a very good side laner against the Razor. But at one point, you pointed out they actually still have the exact same CS. It's largely due to the fact that Razor's just not good against 2 heroes, and they had the Puck and the Sand King trying to control the wave as much as possible early on. So if you see now, like the Puck realizes he cannot lane here, they're sending Mugi to the safe lane. And they know that Lifestealer does not play well into the Razor, especially with the Razor that's level advantage. But like this is something they have to do. As a matter of fact, as I say that, Puck does not have a good matchup against Tiny either. So once again, I think VGJ are just going to pull ahead of the lane phase here.
Yeah, they're not having to rotate at all, and every time you rotate as well, that's costing you a little bit of time, maybe costing you a couple of CS. And like you're saying, VGJ.Thunder pulling ahead so far. They're going to go onto KP up top, Avatos combination. They've shackled him up earlier, and he is immediately dead. You said it was going to be a difficult lane, and I think KP realizing that now. Sonic Wave going to get thrown out at mid lane. They do manage to bring down Freeze, and Fade also stuck inside the Bramble Maze. SCC going to pick up an all-important double kill. They do lose Kaka, but great rotation by the NEWBEE supports.
That was real unfortunate. Fade just goes in with a stun late, and then all of a sudden he walks into the Bramble Maze and gets himself caught as well, giving him another freebie after Freeze already died. Again, a little unfortunate.
They want Yang down bottom now, going to open up on him. Kaka holding on to the Slithering Crush until they get more in range now. They will have Faith here. Yang does have the TP. Gets the link off a little bit. Actually doing decent damage to the starter. He's going to have a Crush soon. This is going to be enough. The Curse Crown props, but Freeze now coming in. One more auto attack's going to do it. Faith dropping pretty low. Freeze does run into the brambles, so held back for a little bit. Still kind of diving. They do have Fade coming in behind the tower. Faith just able to survive with the stick charges. And Thunder maybe just going to get randomly stunned. Rage goes for the salve, but it gets canceled instantly, and now Fade's just waiting there with the burst strike. Looking like Mugi going to be easily brought down, and Fade forced to TP away. I don't know what he was thinking with that salve while the projectiles were still flying at him.
I think he recognized that if he stuck around, he would have just gotten Laguna bladed, so he probably just wanted to raise his life points as much as possible. Actually, they had the work to scout out the Sand King as well, so perhaps he just didn't accept his death early enough.
Oh.
it's
Fade's still in the trees. A little bit of trouble, perhaps. Does still have the burst strike to be able to escape, potentially. He's been slowed down, I think, a little bit too much, and should just get right-click down. Another Slithering Crush in 1 second. Freeze is looking for the turnaround, perhaps. Get the stun over onto Kaka, but not enough mana, it looks like, and not willing to stick around. So NEWBEE managing to find these trades, keeping the kill score relatively even. Net worth, kind of the same story, but we do see the Tiny and the Lina starting to pull ahead a little bit overall.
Yeah, I won't lie. I'm a little surprised at these kills that are happening. I feel like they're a bit on the sloppy side coming out of VG.Thunder as well, just because they have this advantage and they just kind of keep going a little too deep or committing a little too hard. Now the ping's coming out on Faith.
Yeah,
These are AoE stuff.
here.
It's gonna die.
Very easy. Not gonna risk anything. Just drop the Laguna Blade on him. KP was rotating over towards the mid lane, it looked like. I think he was eager to use a Dream Coil and maybe find a kill linking up with SCCC, but they're actually going to haste up on SCCC. He's also got himself a Regener in DDC, looking long dead at this point. Just going to do everything that he can before he drops. Sylar not even going to come over and get involved. Just lets his support die, and KP will be the one to grab that kill.
Nice freebie coming out of the
Get the first strike on mid, but Faith does manage to get off the Shadow Realm, and now looking to lock down Fade and Yang a little bit. They will be able to split for the Curse Crown, and they'll be fine.
Man, that Curse Crown ability, it's so good. It's just like a homing missile that doesn't do damage, but it's also AoE. So if you're playing against the Willow and somebody gets Curse Crown, you really have to watch out where you're standing towards the end of that 4-second timer.
Yeah. Did you like the skill build from Faith? He's maxing the Bramble Maze this game.
I've seen multiple different builds. This is definitely one of them. I think it's just the fact that this game he knows that like he's not going to be going around like just shadow realming people like crazy. So just maxing this CC ability that helps their team fight is probably the right call.
Oh, smoke wraparound from VGJ.Thunder, but NEWBEE also bringing numbers into the area. Faith's going to get gone on. Can they chain them down? Looks like they should be able to. He's dead. Kaka does manage to get out the Corrosive Haze, keeping tabs on Freeze, but VGJ.Thunder ready here. 4 heroes. They've got the Mass Serpent Wards down, looking to secure this tower. Mugi, seeing all those heroes up top, is going to try and push out the bottom lane. But Yang comes down here to ward him off, and it looks like it will just be an uneven trade in favor of VGJ.Thunder. Mid lane's getting pushed a little bit by SCCC, so maybe that's where the trade will end up happening.
Yeah, I think if Tiny doesn't port, actually he just ports right now, because like he's like the only hero that can shove out the swap right now. So it's a good thing that he ported to try and save the tower.
Got some damage. SCCC also standing his ground. Sylar dropping a little bit low. It does have some wand charges, and this Tiny is deceptively tanky with the strength bar, so you got to be careful.
But you see how they like put the value of importance on that tower, right? Like this Tiny literally ported to mid lane to get a couple creeps and save the tower for that moment. Just to go
Fade, the Bramble Maze connects onto him. They also get the crush, and he's dead. Don't even need to commit any ultimates. SCCC now blinking forward. They don't get the tower lasted, or the creep gets the tower lasted. But still, nice.
They made the movement. Yeah, they made the move to secure the tower. They were gonna kill whoever was there. It just happened to be Sand King because the Sylar already had backed off. But again, the importance of towers.
This hasn't been revealed just yet. It does almost have the maxed out combo. He just wants that instant free pick off and would love it on the Queen of Pain or one of the cores.
I don't know if he can get it on the quap with a level 3 toss. With level 4 toss and like a right click as well as a tree toss at the end, you might be able to get it. But
he gets scouted. Now they jump in mid lane. It's Freeze just running straight in, and he'll be brought down. NEWBEE setting up so nicely around the mid lane with these 2 observer wards, spawning any rotations, and pretty good patience. I think the 2 supports just kind of sat here for the last minute or so, waiting for someone else to show their face, and nets them another kill.
Yeah. They were out of vision, and in turn, Mugi wasn't able to free farm the way he wanted because he recognized his team was making a play on the different part of the map. But again, this goes to show like the vulnerability of Lina to an extent, right? Like anytime she shows she gets stunned by one hero, the quap will go on top, and another hero will be there to guarantee the kill on her. And speaking of Lina, I do want to talk a little bit about her item choices. He's going for the quick Shadow Blade, which I think is the right call. I don't think you can rush Bloodstone anymore. One is because it doesn't build out of the Soul Ring, and a lot of Linas still do prefer it just because of the mana that she needs. And the other thing is like you just need to have that kill pressure up front. Kind of like the Tiny who goes the Blink or the Shadow Blade first. You have to be able to go in and burst your targets, because if you don't burst, you're gonna die.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Tiny gonna keep being up top. Sylar wanting to hold on to this tier 1 a little bit longer. They do have to be careful. KP does have his blink at the ready. They're gonna drop the Dream Coil, silencing him up as well. DDC finds the turnaround, but KP manages to get the jaunt off, and now they've got the Sonic Wave along with the Terrorize. Sylar still quite tanky. SCCC tries to finish the kill, but Sylar's not dead just yet. Still ticking down somewhat, but looks like he's gonna be alright. Meanwhile, Freeze farming a bit at the bottom side. They also deploy the Mass Serpent Wards for for that defense. Pretty big commitment from VGJ.Thunder, but also sort of the same for NEWBEE. They used the coil, they used the Sonic
KPI
Wave,
died.
didn't get the kill. KP not going to get stunned up here. Freeze still chasing, though. Yeah, KP's going to be okay, it looks like.
Yeah. Freeze actually used the stun just to get a proc on the Fiery Soul, but it was in vision range of KPI, and KPI immediately turned tail.
Kaka wants some farm here, but looks like Sao's just going to jump and burst him down. Poor Slaughterhouse Blink Dagger going to get delayed a little bit. Yeah.
There's the tiny combo coming in action. Honestly, though, he's not too sad about that death, right? It's like on their side of the river, there's no creep wave to push the tier 1 tower in turn. So as you can see, VGJ.Thunder immediately rotate bottom because they say, okay, the tower is more accessible at bottom. We have Freeze, one of our strong heroes there. The position will be in favor for us. And Sand King's jumping out top lane as well. So that was a decent move overall, but they probably wanted a little more with that smoke.
And Fade not even looking too great on his Blink Dagger timing at the moment either. Actually only 600 gold in the bank, so Kaka doing a little bit better. And Kaka continues to get prioritized with the mid lane at the moment. Are they actually going to give this farm to the Slardar instead of... No, okay, the Lifesteal is going to come in and grab it. I mean, it is really important that they get this Blink up to help get the Lifestealer a little bit more online, but it looks like Mugi, he's still the position 1. Yeah, still going to grab those creeps. But VGJ.Thunder take the bottom tier 1 tower, looking to set up a little bit more in this Radiant jungle. They've got one Observer Ward over here that's just about to fade. DDC didn't bring any more down for this one. Maybe there's some on the Courier. But speaking of Fade, he's just trying to defend this top tier 1 for a little bit longer. As VGJ.Thunder, they're not done. They've still got this siege creep. They've still got 2 range creeps. They keep the push going. And NEWBEE a little bit slow on the push here. Are actually going to end up losing their tier 2 tower, it looks like. Oh, okay, no, Mass TP's coming in. They want to defend this Faith. On the front lines, he's immediately into the Shadow Realm. Does get stunned up. Freeze retreating back with the Shadow Blade. They've got SCCC coming around the corner. He doesn't want to jump in too aggressively. KP continues the pursuit. He's already used his blink. He orbs into the trees, unfortunately. Freeze going to go for the combo. Onto Faith, tries to burst him down. Does get that kill, but I don't know if he's going to be able to escape. SCCC drops the Sonic Wave over the top of 3. DDC did put down the Mass Serpent Wards, and now Mugi is getting drained out. I don't know if he's going to be able to escape this. The Infest also still on cooldown. SCCC finds one more on the backlines. Mugi is now armlet toggling for dear life. Kaka's just getting right-clicked down. Toss from Sylar going to finish him off as KP also sitting around on the edges of this fight. Harassing a bit more with the orb. Does need to be careful about how he plays this. These right clicks are doing so much damage from Yang. Manages to dodge the plasma field, but one more right click's going to do it. And Yang picking up a double for himself as well. Oh, and SCCC getting over. He's okay. He's alright.
Yeah. But you see, like, that's the typical Razor versus Lifestealer interaction in the Dota game, right? Anytime Lifestealer just comes out and pops his kit, you know, with the Rage trying to right-click somebody down, the Razor will link you. If the Razor links you, the moment you get linked, you actually have to run, because the longer you stay, longer it's guaranteed, especially when the Rage fades and you start getting hit by the Unstable Current Purge. Like, you're just going to lose so much damage, and he's going to clean up everybody in the fight. So, even though Freeze comes in and bursts a hero to die, like, there's still, like, 3 cores on VGJ.Thunder that's very reliable in these fights. And I feel like if NEWBEE, especially when they lose trades like that with the 2 towers coming in late, these moments of hesitation are going to cost them their timing. The timing with the Slaughter Blink, which obviously they do not have yet.
Kaka's getting closer, 1,500 gold, almost has it, but still going to take another couple of minutes. And I think that last fight goes to show how much better VGJ.Thunder can be in these sort of prolonged fights. I mean, both teams have some repeatable stuns and whatnot. I mean, mostly the Slitherine Crush on the NEWBEE side, but Tiny and Razor especially, they're not very cooldown reliant, can often get all of their spells off, all of their low cooldown spells off multiple times in a fight, and that's where NEWBEE have to be bursting these heroes right at the very start with their kind of big AoE combination. Otherwise, they're going to run into trouble.
Yeah, so essentially, NEWBEE have like one major entry into the fight, and it's always going to come in the form of either a Puck or Slaughter initiating with the Lifestealer inside. Like, it's basically a next bomb that has to blow up the target or 2.
Oh my god, they're hunting for SCCC in here. Freeze is just doing some deforestation. Just cutting down tree after tree after tree. SCCC, alright, realizing now that they're after him, is going to blink away. I guess he wanted to just pop out and cut a couple of waves and get this bottom lane shoving, but...
I mean, that's space though, right? There's 3 heroes that are committing, basically. And the wave's going to push in anyway without them getting any objectives. So, regardless, that's space.
Man, even with all that dedicated farm that Kaka's been getting, it's actually going to end up being The Sanking with the Blink Dagger first. Smoke on smoke a little bit. They are running forward. KP manages to jump onto the Razor. Can they burst him down in time? That's the question. NEWBEE taking quite a bit of damage. Should be able to finish him off, but now can they get out? SCCC is actually the one caught by the VGJ.Thunder smoke. They burst him. Freeze is going to look for more. Moogie, TP's on cooldown for 26 seconds. Infest and Rage also not there. KP's going to jump in. Does manage to get the silence out to help out Moogie for a little bit longer. The Terrorize as well, opening up some space. Moogie just running for dear life with DDC. About to get the Hex, about to get the Shackle. They've got more than enough chain lockdown to burst the Lifestealer here. Or do they? He almost manages to toggle his way out, but NEWBEE can't get too much more. Just throw out one Corrosive Haze, and it will end up being a 2-for-1 core trade overall with those two smokes.
Yeah, so the problem with them going on that smoke onto Yang on that part of the map is like they don't know where the rest of VGJ.Thunder is. They could be pushing out of the lanes, they could be keeping over the jungle, or they could be smoking into them directly, which is what they were doing. And anytime they could take the fight right now, if they're able to burst the Razor under normal circumstances, it'd be nice. But there was like no ports of entry, like no points of escape from that angle. So like the fact that they went on Yang there after seeing that, yeah, I don't know. They lose SCC, they lose another hero.
Gonna get caught up top. They're gonna commit the epicenter for this. He does manage to just run it off and blink away though. They didn't have the follow-up damage, and Kaka's out of there. Oh my god. All right, Fade. That was a little bit ambitious. But overall, still pretty close game on the net worth. 2K, about a 4K experience lead. VGJ.Thunder managing to split up a little bit more across the map. This Lifestealer is still somewhat struggling. Unfortunately for Moogie, both of the times that they've, I guess that one time that they managed to get the Infest gank off, it immediately got turned around on him. So they haven't really caught him back up into the game that much.
It's actually pretty tough for him at this point. You know, he's a Lifestealer with Rage, but he just doesn't know when the engage is going to happen. And it's pretty susceptible to the burst right now.
More smokes from NEWBEE. They're going to get the two-man crush out on the mid lane, trying to focus on Yang. DDC also going to get silenced up. SCCC wastes no time, drops the Sonic Wave. Yang's trapped in the Bramble Maze, and he's going to get right-clicked down. You'll be finding those two pickoffs, and VGJ.Thunder just going to put themselves in positions to push out bottom lane a little bit. Freeze already thinking about the fact that they need to spam out mid. Is going to come Shadow Blading forward here. Needs to be somewhat cautious, but just hoping to find one of those random support pickoffs, perhaps.
Yeah. So VG.Thunder definitely want to slow down the game.
KP gets stunned up. Avatos combo. The creep wave spawns, but the toss still grabs the puck. Nicely positioned by Sylar. KP wanted to push this out. SCCC now forced to come in, but Sylar already TPing his way home. They do have Kaka also trying to find Fade, but not going to be successful.
Yeah. So it's honestly an overall pretty hard game for Puck. There's literally a stun on every hero except the Razor. He was laning against the Razor, so it was tough already. But yeah, going back to the notes, like VG.Thunder, they want to slow down this game a bit. They know they were incredibly ahead. Now that they're not so much anymore because NEWBEE made a lot of good plays. The way NEWBEE play in general, and I'm sure these Chinese are all aware of each other's play styles, is like NEWBEE loves running at hero, especially the heroes that are in SCC's lane. And as you can see, NEWBEE right now, they're poised kind of aggressively in the enemy woods, but they're missing two of their players, especially the Slardar, who won't be aggressing here right now. Where the Slardar goes and where the co-op is, they'll generally try to like make plays then. And VG.Thunder have to be very wary of that, because their heroes can die even though they have the advantage.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of splitting them up, right? Taking this tier 2 bottom as early as they did, I think has actually opened up the map quite a bit for them. Faith, gonna get jumped here by Sylar. Well, does manage to get the Shadow Realm off, but they're still chasing after him. Drops a Terrorize. Does he actually have a TP scroll to get out? He's gonna try for it. DDC might find him with the Hex. Does do so. Finishes him off. Nice little bit of gold going in for that poor position 5 Shadow Shaman.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, at this point, with recent changes in the patch notes as well, like those are the support kills that you want to have happen to you. Like you want to be deep on the enemy side of the map, making sure heroes, as I say, that mid lane.
Jump in mid. They're gonna try and burst down Kaka. Do they have enough damage? Not gonna get clipped by that Dragon Slave. Freeze not able to combo his abilities together fast enough.
Yeah, multiple times this game he had the opportunity to follow up with the Light Strike array and then go into the ultimate, but he just chooses to ult right away first.
And Kaka's healing up. He's actually going to be okay. He jumps in. He's going to get Burrow Struck. They drop the Sonic Wave out onto 2. A couple of Dream Coils. The Dream Coil is well coming through. Yang getting right-clicked down by Moogie. Trying to stand his ground. Moogie now retreating. He's out of the rage. KP's on the back lines. Controlling Freeze a little bit. DDC does get silenced up. They're trying to get onto this Lifestealer once again. VGJ.Thunder keen for some more kills. Will be able to grab this one. The Bramble Maze holds them in position a little bit longer. KP considers the re-engage. Fate's running forward. Wants this Fade kill. KP waiting on his blink. Waiting on the orb. They get the kill in the end. DDC locking him down. Freeze can he get the stun in time? Won't be able to. It looks like KP should be able to blink away. He's still got the Yules in reserve. And NEWBEE trying to kite this around a bit, but it's
Radiant's middle
just
tower
the
is
Puck
under
and the
attack.
Dark Willow. And
Radiant
VGJ.Thunder realizing that will very quickly finish this up. Queen of Pain getting bursted pretty quickly in that last fight.
Yeah, she's still very squishy, right? She doesn't have BKB, and if she did, it would be a completely different story. But honestly, they can't have asked for a better engagement there, right? Like they went in with a 40% HP Slaughter, got a huge 3-man stun, they got a huge Sonic Wave as well as the Pop Burst follow-up. Again, like the fight couldn't have really gone better. Maybe Willow was there to like use Terrorize. That would have probably been one thing that could have been better. With the coil, it synergizes and sends them all back into like a massive stun.
Yeah.
But yeah, besides that, like a real dream initiation, I would say. And it still goes to show like VG.Thunder right now, they're squishy, and they have to be careful because with this kind of lead normally, even though the gold lead doesn't say much, they had a lot of kills in the early game. They also came out of the laning phase ahead and took a
Radiant's
lot of big
middle
towers.
tower is
So
under attack.
Kaka hunting for Fade. I think they know that he's just around this corner, but they can't see him just yet. They're hoping that he's going to go for the wave, but Freeze is actually scouting in here with the Shadow Blade, miss burst right from
Radiant's
Fade.
middle tower is under attack.
Both teams just going to disengage.
nice reactions, honestly, from both sides. Good reaction.
Well, these position 4 players, they're pretty good these days, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
They're pretty solid. Sylar pushing up bottom lane a little bit. Has picked up a Manta style, help deal with some of these silences, make sure that he can get his spells off. Also pretty good against the open wounds from the Lifestealer. You got the Curse Crown on the Dark Willow. So, pretty nice pickup.
Yeah, Manta's a very good choice. Although this game, I feel like it would have made more sense to just go BKB because there's so many things like that. Manta is still a good deterrent, and you do want movement speed, so that's probably why he got it.
Yeah, we see the SNY reasonably often on the Tiny anyway, so not that much of a departure to go here for the Manta. They're hunting for SCCC in the trees here. Oh, Faye gonna go for it now. They know that the Blink is Uncle them, but he gets the BKB off in time. Wow. Now Faith is also here, silencing him up. They want to chase for these kills. They need to make this BKB do work. They're gonna drop the Sonic Wave to find that one. Freeze hiding in the trees, doesn't actually have a TP scroll. So he is just gonna hold his breath and wait. Looks like he's going to be alright, but they jump in at the mid lane at the same time. Yang getting jumped on by Mugi and KP. He's bursted down. 2 heroes across the map, lost by VGJ.Thunder. Freeze realizing that they have to try and get a kill here to turn things around. He sets things up for Sylar, who now comes in with the Avatos combo. And they will finish off SCCC, but can they get out? Kaka gets hexed up. Looks like he should get right-click down, but the Terrorize is going to connect onto all 3. He's still dead. KP jumps in with the Silence. Mugi opening up onto the Lina, taking big damage. Faith also helping out with the Curse Crown. One more right-click's going to do it. That's 4 dead so far in VGJ.Thunder. Sylar trying to make his escape with the Blink, picks up the tree on the way out. Mugi's still chasing though, as is KP. He's got the Blink and the Yules. Freeze does have that Bloodstone respawn. He's coming in that little bit more quickly. He might be able to turn it around, at least get the KP kill. Sylar still running. Mugi, probably not enough damage. KP, alright, now brought down. Did manage to get the phase shift off Faith. No mana left in the tank, unfortunately. And Fade, nice force staff in, straight into the Burrow Strike. Faith does manage to get the Shadow Realm off, but I don't know if he escaped in this situation. Sylar with the Avalanche secures the double kill, and NEWBEE just chasing a little bit too far onto that Tiny. Maybe not realizing how quickly the Lina was respawning. So, very back and forth game overall.
Probably the biggest thing that you mentioned here, the Bloodstone coming into play, they were completely not ready for it, and I'm sure they were both very keenly aware of what they were going into each of these engagements. Speaking of which, though, like, did you see the effect of that Terrorize there? This is why this hero is played 5 positions. Like, this ultimate is an AoE Savage Roar that can be cast from 2k range apart. Like, you just cast a good one, and it'll always change the fight. It has like single most impactful ability in the game.
Thunder managed to secure the Roche. Get out of there. Aegis onto the Tiny. ADC going to Thundercape himself up onto this high ground, looking for further pickoffs. Really nice for Thunder to be able to go in there and secure the Aegis. They actually picked up a Solar Crest on Yang. I mean, not just for the Roche. I think a lot of that is also because he needs the armor against the Lifestealer and the Slardar, but helps out a lot there.
Yeah, very good choice, and he's going to have BKB soon. So at this point, I would say VGJ.Thunder's timing it's just to have a BKB as well as the AC on Tiny and then try to high ground. Because it is true that even though their lineup is strong, this Lifestealer Slaughter Quad lineup scales very well with BKBs into Thunder's lineup as well. So you don't really want to take it too far, let the puck hit the Axe Coil and then have like the Axe Coil Terrorize potential. That could really like change the game.
Yeah, and we haven't even seen that just yet, right? KP's had to put up with a not so great game like we've been talking about because they picked the puck relatively early. Thunder have a lot of stuns and a lot of heroes to be able to deal with him. But they felt like picking the Dark Willow, they weren't going to be able to get it any other way, right? That it was probably going to get banned second phase. And we haven't really seen the combination just yet, but it's about to get even scarier as KP is rushing towards an Aghanim Scepter and only about 600 gold to go. And at that point, that can just win an entire fight, right? You catch 2 or 3 heroes in the Dream Coil, you terrorize them all out, they're stunned for an eternity. There's no way you're winning the fight at that point if you're VGJ.
They also take like almost 1,000 damage, right? If they don't have their BKBs up. I mean, we saw the Terrorize already win them a fight, right? At the Secret Shop, it literally just sent 3 heroes into them, was able to give Puck a huge burst with the Illusory Orb as well as just the Silence. And, you know, that fight was actually 5v3, or 3v5 rather, and then the team with the 3 heroes on the Dark Willow won it. So it goes to show, like, just the power of these stuns, these potential disables, as well as like these team fight disengage abilities. Just so good.
Are scanning.
Yeah. So
Thank you for everyone.
We got a gem picked up on the NEWBEE side. Just kind of securing their side of the map a little bit. They can't risk any pickoffs at this stage with the Aegis up. Can't really let VGJ.Thunder find their groove and force their way off their side of the map. They are trying for it, it looks like. They do have a smoke up on DDC. Gonna give that Arcane Rune over to Sylar. And alright, 4-man smoke coming in. Freeze always has his Shadow Blade. Going for a defensive item in the Force Staff here just to help out a little bit. Counter-initiate against some of these Slardar stuns, against the Lifestealer jumping out. Fade's going to be the one to lead the charge. They need to be careful about how they initiate here in onto NEWBEE as Triple C's carrying the gem. They pop the Observer Ward down. They're going to go for KP. He managed to get the Fade Shift off. The Terrorize now coming in, trying to counter-initiate. They should be able to do it. They drop the Dream Coil as well. The Sonic Wave not connecting all that well. It clips Sylar and DDC, but Sylar's down. That's his first life. NEWBEE now having to look to disengage Razor a little bit late to this fight. Kaka going to jump in now with the Infest. Doesn't really find too much. Mugi forced to pop out, but it's straight into a Hex, straight into some stuns. And NEWBEE, I think, regretting that decision to re-engage, are going to end up losing 2 and now lose the tier 2 tower in the process.
Radiant's middle tower
Wow.
has fallen.
A nice turnout for what I thought was not a very good initiation.
Yeah. And now we've got the Mass Serpent Wards up on the high ground. Lift's going to come out. NEWBEE doing their best to spam. KP getting involved. Sylar will be forced to pop that Manta. And they will buy back onto the Slardar. VGJ.Thunder, that's what they were looking for, and they instantly disengage. Sylar blinks out. Yang runs for the hills. Freeze straight into the Shadow Blade. And they still get the tier 3 in the process.
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah. I was with you there. I was like, okay, they jumped in. They didn't get the Quap kill. They lost the Aegis. But still, somehow, well, I guess because NEWBEE chose to go back in the way that they did, VGJ was still winning the fight.
That was the prime issue, right? It's like Kaka stood there for a second, was contemplating on whether it was a good idea or not. It would have actually been a great play had the Lifestealer had Rage. Because if he was able to Rage, he would have popped out immediately, and actually they would have actually committed to burst the Tiny under the Corrosive Haze, which they would have. But because he didn't have Rage, Mugi decided to stay inside his vehicle, and the moment that he died in Kaka, of course, Mugi popped out. He still didn't have Rage, got stunned up, immediately bursted. One of those, you know, big team fight, like, second difference plays, right? It's like you need that kind of communication between your carry and your vehicle. Like, it's just very hard to process that. But these are the things that separate a good team from a great team.
And with that, VGJ.Thunder now have opened up the way to be able to go and grab these shrines a little bit later on. NEWBEE, they've got really good vision around the dire side of the map. It would be nice to see Thunder maybe picking up a gem of their own at some stage. They are running under a ton of Radiant Vision at this moment, but NEWBEE can't do too much more than just shove the wave into the tower and then back themselves up. Thunder are hunting for them. The Lifestealer's showing mid, so Thunder pretty keen to take a fight on this top side.
Yeah,
if they can.
They know for sure at best it's gonna be like a...
The Kaka comes and picks him up. And they do have the Nullifier on the Lifestealer as well. This could be big trouble for Freeze. Kaka's hunting for him. They get the Blink Crush in. Oh, but now out pops the Sand King. They do get the Force Staff for the Dream Coil, catching out of 3. The Sonic Wave coming through. Yang. TP's in from the side. They've already lost Galena. And now the Terrorize. Here comes the Break Stun. No, actually not quite long enough on that Dream Coil duration. Sylar's still alive. Yang's alright. KP's on the back lines, just jumping himself away. They're looking for more. Yang stunned for a very long time. Do they have the damage? Sylar a little bit low, won't be able to re-engage. NEWBEE just going to take those 2 kills and go and look for some objectives.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to follow Freeze a little bit here. I really don't like his item. He decided to go for the Hurricane Pike, which I'm not sure what it does this game. Like, he's never gonna be able to pike a Slaughter before he stuns, that's for sure. So what you want is armor or deterrence. And like, He has no way to deal with the puck or the magical burst or the physical burst right now as it stands. Just a walk.
Alright, jump in. They're going to try and go for Mugi. Will he be able to get the rage off? He doesn't. He actually gets chain stunned up. He has to commit into the fight now. Sylar coming in. Big avalanche. 4-step away from Kaka. He's still surviving. NEWBEE actually. Everyone's still alive. And now Mugi able to jump into Kaka, who doesn't have the sprint. Can they get him out of here? He gets down into the river. Looks like he's going to be all right on the back lines as well. KP able to escape. I don't know how everybody on NEWBEE lived there. There was just a huge pile of AoE stuns, and then NEWBEE walked away from it.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I think, again, basically the puck as well as the starter are having these initiations, and some of these heroes not being able to deal with it. I think also there was a Cursed Crown that landed both the two cores that were fighting, Lina as well as the Tiny. And Razor obviously doesn't have that much chase potential alone against all these disables and like disengage abilities. So very nice fight by NEWBEE. They get away with murder once again, and hey, honestly, suffering a lot.
Freeze, crushed up, amped, just getting right click down. Mugi comes in now with the nullifier. Can't get the 4-staff off. Can't really do anything.
I'm
just
telling you, man. This item build of his right now, I'm not gonna lie, it's just like he invested so much money into these items that don't really do anything for him in the fight. I'm not a fan of this pike at all. I think this actually like hurts them so much, the fact that he has this. Just imagine if this was like a Lincoln, Shiva, or a BKB, like the things they could have done in these fights. It's just so monumental.
Yeah, he's just getting locked down and killed time and time again.
Exactly. Like, what can you do, right? It's like there's a starter that goes on you and Lifestealer with a nullifier that does 100, like 300 damage a hit. You're just gonna die every time. So you have to build to deal with your counters, and he doesn't have that in the proper form anyway. Pike honestly doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I wonder if he was maybe thinking that they were, like, things seemed to be going pretty well. They were pushing up onto the high ground. Maybe he's thinking to himself, all right, we need a little bit of siege. I'm going to play for the attack range talent and whatnot, and I'll be the one to hit the buildings. But yeah, like you're saying, it doesn't matter at all if you just die every single time you get gone on.
Like, on that notion, you know, 4-staff is actually really good. He had it, and he actually tried to save Fade earlier, and it kind of worked. Fade died anyway, but, like, you know, it gave him some more spacing in the fight. As I say that, Freeze might die again. There's some nice wards that scout him. He did Shadow Blade up, but they do have a gem. They have a lot of map control on this side of the
Sylar getting slowed down by his CCC up here. It's just a 1v1. The rest of the team is off to the side pushing lanes. I really think VGJ.Thunder need a gem of their own. NEWBEE have been winning the Vision games so hard for like the yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they bought it.
NEWBEE have been dominating them in Vision for like the last 10 minutes. And that's how they're getting all these free pickoffs, right? They're running in, they know exactly where everybody is on Thunder, they know who's there to be able to counter-initiate, and they're just finding easy kills. They're going to go on the puck illusion. KP now looking to jump in, he gets the coil out onto 2, silence onto the Razor, will get feared out, and now the Dream Coil break. They're stunned forever. They will be able to force staff Yang a little bit further away, but they've lost their Sand King, and Razor's already low. He does manage to get off the BKB freeze, good stun to counter-initiate, but now he gets Yuled up, nullified as well, trying to run his way out of this one. SCCC with the BKB just going to turn around and start right-clicking. Sylar stuck in the middle of the fight, and now he's just being kited relentlessly. Mugi going to keep on right-clicking him down. GDC also getting caught. KP jumping towards the base. They will try and save Sylar. Kaka doesn't manage to get the stun out. Sylar's BKB lasting just long enough. But NEWBEE still clean up the fight 4-0. Everybody was waiting there. They baited with the puck illusion. And VGJ.Thunder just getting mauled one by one.
Yeah, so at this point, it's like VG.Thunder, once again, their lineup is very offensive by nature. So what they want to do is always be the ones that are applying pressure. They can't be the ones that are dying on their side of attack. Because when this happens, obviously, like Queen of Pain, Lifestealer, they're very good at doing right-click damage to these buildings at this point. And honestly, this Tiny is to fall off too, if you've noticed, right? Like, he's got all this network, but he can't burst anyone, especially a pop with Shivas now. So they're going to start getting outscaled at this point, and I'm starting to think, like, they realize if VG.Thunder aren't able to like sneak in Roshan or something, this is looking pretty grim for them.
Yeah, it's a lane of racks for NEWBEE. Like you're saying, it feels like the Tiny is starting to fall off a little bit. Not really a man-fight hero, right? As Tiny, you're jumping in, you're going to try and kill one person, and then you're looking to reset. You don't want to stand still in the middle of the fight and just lay in with the auto attacks unless the other guy is completely chain stunned. And in this case, when the other guy is a life stealer.
Exactly. It's just a direct counter, right? No matter what you build on Tiny, you will never be able to fight this hero 1v1.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're anywhere close on the net worth, I mean, even in this case, Sylar is a little bit ahead, but there's just nothing that he can, nothing that he can really do. VGJ.Thunder come out. They do still have their gem, fortunately. So able to deward their side of the map a little bit, but NEWBEE, one of the aspects that we talked about as being a strength for the lineup that we haven't really seen just yet is their Rosh taking potential. They get one pick off at this stage, can very easily claim this Roshan, and they're going to come running out. They've still got the ward up on the high ground. They spot the EDC coming in. They go for the smoke. Sylar and Fade also being scouted a little bit. Sylar's just around the corner. DDC comes in with the ward. They get the two-man crush out, and now they get the Dream Coil onto everybody. The Terrorizer going to push the Tiny back. He dies to the Sonic Wave. Yang going to do his best to fight with the BKB. Kaka does get Laguna bladed down, but Freeze is still just stuck here. He finally manages to wait at the Dream Coil and force himself down onto the low ground. They did manage to take Kaka down, but Yang's now caught. Freeze also going to get Yulesed up, and it looks like everybody on VGJ.Thunder going to be sent back to their fountain. Double kill for Faith as he picks up a mega kill streak, and that'll be it for VGJ.Thunder. They're going to tap out and give NEWBEE this first game.
Well, I'm just going to assume that Thunder is much more experienced with NEWBEE, but the Western team's conception of NEWBEE is that they're pretty much the most Western Chinese team out there. They play extremely fast, and they play extremely aggressive. So they're not so aggressive in terms of laning phase, like they're just trying to gank everything. But how they usually play is they give SAC a good enough or a good enough matchup, and they decide to just try and shove in the lanes on the side lanes with Mugi, and then they start 5-manning relentlessly. And I think this game kind of demonstrated that. Like maybe it wasn't a full 5-man, but they really tried to gank a lot while SAC was farming, getting his catch-up game up. And honestly, man, I think VG.Thunder they crumbled a lot with some of these pushes.
Yeah, they only managed to play on the Radiant side of the map a couple of times. It looked all right after they took that movement that they made to go and grab the tier 2 bottom.
Tier 3, right? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, even before that, but when they grabbed the tier 2 bottom and they kind of opened up the map a little bit, they were able to play around there somewhat, but it just felt like NEWBEE were always doing a little bit better in terms of shoving out the lanes. I guess that is the one other difference that maybe comes back to similarities that we were talking about in the laning stage, right? NEWBEE's heroes are actually a little more mobile, especially when you compare like the Queen of Pain and the Puck to the, say, like the Lina and the Razor.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, with the Slaughter too, right? They're always going to be running around the map.
Yeah, and they're shoving lanes constantly. VGJ.Thunder kind of always have something that they have to be dealing with, and they're in a situation where if they show either the Lina or the Razor and the Slaughter is off the map, you can just die like that. Mugi, I think, did a good job of catching up. I got to give KP some props for playing the Puck as well as he did, given the matchup situation. Like, as we saw, if Tiny finds you at any point in the mid game, you're just dead. There's a lot of chain stun, so if you make a misplay and you get hexed or you get burst struck, you just die instantly on the spot. But KP ending the game with a pretty reasonable score, 5-4 and 14. And we saw a lot of the power of that Dark Willow plus Puck.
Oh man, it's just beautiful, isn't it? Anytime you coil somebody to know that they're guaranteed dead, like that, that is just, it's so scary to think about. Anytime like the hero can just hit a spell from 1,000 range and everybody's just gonna die, that's the coil, right?
Yeah. And the other thing as well is that if you're VGJ.Thunder and you're like, oh crap, we're trapped in the Dream Coil, let's all press our BKBs, then NEWBEE can just run away. They're like, oh, nice job, guys. You popped all of your BKBs. We're just going to go reset for 5 seconds, and we'll be right back. Because even if you pop the BKB, you can't run out of the coil once you've got the ads. Right. So
you're still in like a cage of death kind of thing. But at the same time, it's one of those games where you don't want to not have a BKB, but the BKB doesn't make your scenario that much better. You still need it, though. You know what I mean? Like, and I will say one of the biggest critical factors, in my opinion, is Freeze's item build this game. I'm really not a big fan of this Hurricane Flag pickup.
Yeah. So what do you think? I was thinking Lincoln's maybe. It's not going to help you against the AOE stun of the Slardar, but at least, it gives you a little bit more of a chance against, say, the Orchid or something like that.
Yeah, I would say Lincoln's, Shiva's, BKB, one of those for sure. Because what they want to do is play off of the timing of the Aegis, which they did in a sense. Like they high grounded, they lost the Aegis, but they high grounded. And then they want to have enough kill pressure as well as the ability to not get instantly popped for the next 5 minutes while they secure the next Aegis.
Yeah. So do you think it's more itemization than the pick? Because they must have been confident in the Lina pick against this lineup,
they should have been.
Right?
Yeah.
Because
they had a philosophy with the lineup, right? Like they played very aggressive, a lot of good laning stage matchups. Honestly, they just couldn't capitalize just because it came to a point where NEWBEE was running at them nonstop, and they didn't have the setups with the heroes sitting behind the right players, or they had the items that were able to deter that to an extent. Like even a Yule Scepter, if you think about it, right? Like if he was able to use himself in any of these moments after he got stunned, like he would have just turned the fight right there and then. Yeah. But he didn't have it.
You buy a couple of seconds, maybe your Sand King comes in, your Tiny comes in.
Yeah, Force Staff, right? Like somebody can just force you after. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, all right. Well, we have the lobby up for the next game. It's actually filling up pretty quickly. So I don't know if you just want to. Should we just keep
I'm,
chatting?
I'm already in. I don't mind. You know, KPI just sent me a nice fun message. You know, obviously he's trolling, but he said easy ass game. Guy's a clown.
I don't know. That's interesting because Damien he's a pretty reserved guy normally. You know,
No.
kind
Oh,
of
dude.
quiet.
Oh.
But
Basically, man, let me tell you, these players, they're all playing the long con. Every single one of them. You start talking to one of them, and you realize they're all a bunch of clowns, a bunch of dicks. You know what I mean? They're not positive or friendly or cute in the slightest, man. You think you know what you see, like based on what you see, like their Twitter, you know, their chatter. They're all calm, reserved, nice people. No, every single one of them, they're a bunch of savages out there.
Oh, the PMA is all an illusion.
Oh, you already know, man. These guys are all playing the long con. Believe me.
All right. So anything that immediately comes to mind in terms of differences that you want to see for VGJ.Thunder for the second game? It is, I guess, a reminder for anybody out there. This is DPL. It's just a 2-game series. It's not a best of 3 or anything, so we only have 2 games. With this loss, VGJ.Thunder, I believe, can't take the #1 spot in the group anymore because even if they draw this, they'll be at 7 points. They'll be tied with IG Vitality. Actually, I guess maybe there's a tiebreaker in that scenario since they went 1-1 with IGV. But yeah, but there isn't a third game for anybody wondering. Anyway,
how's that team doing, by the way? IGV.
IGV. I think they're doing all right. I haven't actually cast too many of their games, but what are their results in the DPL? So they went 1-1 with eHome, 1-1 with LGD. They 2-0'd NEWBEE, and they went 1-1 with Thunder. A little bit hard to say sometimes with the DPL. Because I feel like VGJ.Thunder and NEWBEE, a lot of what they've lost to recently, I think, is them not really having lacking a little bit of depth in some of their drafts and being a little bit predictable. So they've been trying stuff out a bit more. We've been seeing some Nature's Prophet from them, that kind of thing. I'm not going to make excuses for them, though. They've still been taking these matches pretty seriously, and just judging by the scoreline, looks like IGV have been doing pretty well.
I mean, the most important thing there was like they won one LGD for me. From what I understand, LGD is the strongest team in China right now. Like they're actually destroying every Chinese team.
Yep.
So the other thing is like IGV. I thought they could only downgrade ever since they lost Paparazzi, and I believe they like swapped out a couple other members as well, right? I think Sakata was their mid player, and he's gone now too. So I actually have no idea who's on the roster anymore. But to hear that they're still competing in full force, that's a surprise to me.
Yeah, they just added Miracle recently, right? So.
Oh, the Miracle. The C guy.
Yeah, the Naga guy.
That guy is actually pretty good. He was out of the scene for a little bit since the last TI, but we on VGJ actually tried him when we were in MDL Macau, and obviously, like due to logistics and stuff, like we really couldn't take a C player at the time. But he's pretty good, man. Like I think that guy has a lot of potential, and people are always just down talking these people from other sides of the world and stuff like that. Obviously, he gets a lot of comparisons to the real Miracle himself, but a little bit of experience, a little bit more competitive play, and these guys, you know, they can refine their craft into something monstrous. Always scared of the C pub stars, you know, these Abbots, these mid ones, Miracles, Ben-Hurs. These guys are all up and coming.
Yeah, the really mechanically skilled guys.
Exactly.
All you got to do is you just got to teach them that competitive aspect a little bit more, right? You gotta tell them you got to be here at this time, and you got to do this. And once they've got that on lock, they're absolutely terrifying. So yeah, we'll have to see how that goes with the recent changes. But looks like everybody's pretty much ready to go, so we can get into Game 2 draft. We didn't even talk about changes for Game 2. Claire, what are you feeling for VGJ.Thunder next time around?
I mean, basically, I'll be honest with you. Like that kind of loss is pretty demoralizing. They had a pretty hefty 6K lead at one point, and if they just decide to bundle up a little bit more and play safer together on the map after they got the free tier 3, I guess it wasn't free, but you know, like they got a couple kills with it. I think they would have been able to handily take this game. So it's just a couple more calm, lax decisions, as well as the focus on what the objective is, what they have to get done. Like they just took the tier 3. They said, okay, what are they gonna do? NEWBEE have a slaughter, a lifestealer. They're gonna run at you. You know what I mean? Like the only thing they're gonna do at this point is they're gonna run at you, try to force the fight with the Dark Willow and Puck. They have their new abilities. Like we have to watch out for it. If we can survive, we will win because we're already ahead. All we need to do is stay alive to get further ahead. So it's just more calm decisions. I think the draft was fine, and ROTK is probably saying the same thing. And yeah, like just keep a good clean head. Because honestly, man, they've been losing a lot of these finals in like 2-0, 3-0 fashion. So I will say like the losses have to be, you know, wearing them down a little. And I am a little bit concerned about that too.
Yeah. Do you think they try and leave the Dark Willow through again, or do you think maybe you just ban it this time around?
I think they ban it. I think they ban it. Yeah, I think they ban it because if I recall correctly, their first set of bans, like there were some heroes that they didn't have to really ban. I think Chen is actually like one of those heroes.
Yeah,
they didn't ban this hero.
Yeah, we talked about the Chen ban a little bit, saying that both of these two teams, they've banned it a ton. Like, I've got the number here actually. So NEWBEE have banned in the last 3 months. They've banned Chen 27 times and only picked it twice.
But they're land against the international teams. That's probably the main reason. That's the same thing for VG.Thunder as well. It's like they get to all these lands, they get to all these finals, and they just ban this Chen because they don't play against it, they don't play with it. So it's like against these two teams that probably know each other pretty well, why ban this hero that's like not potentially a factor? Yeah. Chen's not the only ban there, by the way. I can't recall the other two bans off the top of my head, but I just feel like there were heroes that are much less threatening than the Willow itself. But I could be wrong. That could just be recency bias. Who knows?
Are there any? Do you feel like Willow has other weaknesses? What's her tri-lane versus tri-lane like? Or
versus Crown is an amazing ability. I mean, dude, like I said, right? It's like it's this homing missile that guarantees a stun on like an AOE, so you have to run. The problem with these abilities is like when they tag you, it's like a mark of death. Like for this duration, you cannot fight because if you ever decide to fight a Willow while you have a Cursed Crown on you, you're eventually gonna lose, right? Because the moment that stun hits, you're just gonna take much more damage. And it's not really a win-win either in the sense that like when you get that casted on you, you still have to run because you know you're going to get stunned, and the Willow's going to be hitting you in that process where there's vastly superior animation, decent movement speed, and very good right-click damage for 5 position support. So yeah, it just creates a really bad scenario overall, and honestly, the more heroes, the merrier.
Yeah. So the other bans for Thunder in that previous game were Tusk and Naga. NEWBEE banned Lycan, Death Prophet, and Omni Knight.
So yeah, that makes sense. Lycan, Death Prophet totally makes sense because those are first picks for VG.Thunder. Omni Knight as well is just a hero that if you decide that you don't want to play against it, it's most of the time a nice first ban. I would say Naga is a necessary ban as well, in a sense that NEWBEE like pick that hero every time it's available. But Tusk, you know, that hero I'm not too sure of. Like obviously VG.Thunder play a lot of Tusk as well in Fade, so I kind of feel like they banned it against themselves there a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's one of those situations where you're like, we think this hero is really good, so everybody must think this hero is really good.
Yeah.
So
you definitely want to have that scenario. You should never ban a hero against yourself. That's like one of the key components in the draft, because so many teams will come out of this first phase where they trade a hero. Like this game, the trade was Dark Willow for Sand King, right? Those are very extremely popular first picks right now. And it's pretty clear that like given how Fade played the Sand King, there was like some disconnects with his cores or a disconnect in the philosophy with the team. And whereas the Willow on Faith, like, did you see the amount of impact he had? He single-handedly won them multiple fights with the Terrorizer.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, that hero, it's interesting, right? Because it didn't actually get picked that much in the very first event after...
immediately after implementation, right?
Yeah. There was like a couple of teams tried it out a little bit, had a decent win rate, but then there were also entire series where it just didn't get picked or banned at all. And now it seems to be that teams are starting to come around on it a little bit.
I mean, I think it makes sense, right? Like half these teams are traveling land to land. They don't really have time to pub that much. They don't have time to experiment. Willow was a hero that wasn't in captain's mode, so there's a lot of teams a lot of players that would have just ignored it right off the bat because on that basis. So yeah, like between these travels, they get to play with and see more of this hero, and then they realize like, oh man, this hero can be good. Now the other reason why, when it was first picked, you mentioned that you thought it was going to be 4 and 5 as well, right?
Yeah.
In terms of position, I had arguments with like many players in the scene about this, but basically how Dota works is that you find a hero, like Monkey King's a great example. You find a hero and you start him as a core, and then you think like, oh yeah, this hero's really broken, he's really strong, and then how Dota gets greedy with these picks is like, if you have this hero on 2 position, it's an amazing. Let's try him on 3 and see what happens. And chances are, if he's really as good as people think he is, he's going to excel on that 3 position as much, which means that your 2 position can be more of a greedy hero in a sense that you can have more farm distributed amongst your cores. And then suddenly you think to yourself, oh wait, 3 and 4, a lot of times there's a lot of interchangeable heroes in that section, right? You can have an Alter Titan on 3 and a 4. You can have a Sand King on a 3 and a 4, stuff like that. So suddenly you try 4. And then you realize all of a sudden this hero is great at roaming too, and he can eventually get his farm and items. So you put him on 4. And this process, like eventually, kind of the term passes me, but like it rivers down basically to the last available position in position 5. And this is the greatest way to run a hero in a sense, right? Because if a hero needs levels and farms to excel, but you can get away with him on 5, then chances are your entire team is just going to look so strong because you have this hero already as a monster at 5 position, and then the 2, 3, and 4, which are like arguably more greedy picks. And I think the Willow is that. Like she has such good stats, she has such good teamfight abilities, she has such strong kill potential damage outputs, and yet she can still play as a support. So,
yeah. Do you have any other predictions that you want to get out before DAC? I know that you used to write the big long meta posts. I don't even remember.
Oh yeah.
What were they called?
The break the meta games.
Yeah. Do you have any insight to drop on us right before DAC? Given that
honestly, man, I haven't seen too much of these Chinese games. I'm really just looking forward to watching DAC. And as obviously because of our affiliations, I do watch a lot of VG.Thunder games. I think they're pretty good. I would say NEWBEE. It's a safe call to remain like I guess like stubborn on the bans and just stick to it. Like ban the Death Prophet, ban the Lycan. These are some flavor heroes that only VG.Thunder run, and they run it with extreme success. The Omni Knight, again, like if their first pick, they want to take it, they might just decide to not ban it, and I think that makes sense. As for VG.Thunder, I think their lineup was extremely offensive and aggressive last game, but they did have it for the majority of the game. You know what I mean? Like they executed well for the most part. It's just that like after that tier 3, they started crumbling bit by bit, losing heroes left and right. Maybe give Freeze a hero that succeeds more like in a safe sense. Give him the more guaranteed matchup. Something like a TA, for example. He can scale, he can survive, and he can do the damage. Obviously, it's game dependent, but he excels on these like OD Storms, Death Prophets, like obviously the big one.
All right. Well, it looks like we still have... I thought that this next game was going to get kicked off super quickly, but it looks like maybe VGJ, something's going on. So maybe we'll just jump to a short break. We'll be back in another couple of minutes, guys, with Game 2. NEWBEE versus VGJ here for DPL.Top 2018 Season 1. If you're just tuning in, NEWBEE are already up a game, so we'll see if VGJ.Thunder can keep that hope alive of taking the #1 spot here in their DPL group in the second game. Catch you guys soon.
falls short in that regard. Like he's still very tanky and very strong as a trading hero, and he gives you objectives. Right? He's a 5 position that can clear waves and push. So how much more can you ask?
Yeah, dual breath, such a strong ability, really nice in those dual lane situations, and then. Like you're saying, that pushing aspect means that you can even pull away a little bit in terms of the building damage on your other rolls, right? Often you're looking at a draft and you're like, oh shit, we don't have anybody to hit the buildings. Even if we win every single team fight for the whole game, maybe we won't be able to breach high ground fast enough and the other team's lineup is going to come online. But at least when you've got the Jakiro there, you're going to have those guaranteed tier 1s, makes it easier on the tier 2s.
10 seconds
So
remaining.
hopefully VGJ.Thunder can use a little bit of that flexibility to make sure that they get
5 seconds
some good core
remaining.
matchups and some good overall game positioning here with regards to their draft.
I'm liking this Jaro pick a lot. One of the classic counters in Lifestealer as well as like Terrorblade, which Jaro can play against TB, but it's like you don't really want to go up against a core that can really outscale the Jaro or like deter a lot of his damage. So the Jaro pick is nice. OD pick and counter is again, if they had the lane matchup, like if it was a mid Jaro versus OD, it's very OD favored. But I think the OD pick is actually a little too early. So I think I'm a big fan of Sylar or Freeze playing OD in general because they're good with the hero, but there's a lot of room for counters for newbie right now.
5 seconds
Yeah,
remaining.
it's plenty of options for lane counters, plenty of options for
Radiant team
matchup
pick.
counters later on. Like this,
there.
there you go. Nyx Assassin going to get grabbed, and VGJ.Thunder grab Kunkka. Okay, so I guess that's pushing Sand King to the off lane, and
I believe so, because I think DDC is their Kunkka player, and he plays a mean Kunkka for sure. I'm sure if people have seen him in LFY back at TI and stuff. He's definitely one of the best 4-position Kunkas out there. And it means Sand King gets a semi-aggressive lane. I'm not going to lie. I think playing Sand King into a blind lane against Witch Doctor +1 is kind of tough, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Because Kunka's he's not the most aggressive 4-position either, right? Like he's no Elder Titan. He's not going to come into this lane and bully this Witch Doctor or trade with the Naga. So
yeah, Kunkka's much more about, maybe you're sitting in the trees and you chuck a couple of torrents, but you're not going to be getting up in anyone's face in the early stages. So it does give them a pretty good sort of 5-man team fight angle to their lineup. We've seen some teams trying out the Kunkka a little bit against the Gyrocopter, against the Death Prophet, against these big AoE heroes, utilizing the Rum to try and win the team fight for you. So I like that aspect of it here as well. The burst damage also not too shabby against the Gyrocopter. You get him caught in a big combo, fairly easy to burst down at that stage. But we'll see how it works out for VGJ.Thunder here. I guess just looking for their 1 position at this stage.
yeah, well, that's the nice thing about Jaro, right? Like you never really know. Is the nice thing. Like VGJ.Thunder can pick a hero here, and as long as it's not some like super hard carry, like they can't pick Medusa because it's kind of hard to run against Nyx and Jaro plus 1 hero that you don't know. But NEWBEE can pick like Shadow Fiend last, for example. They can pick Pugna last and decide to just push with their lineup. A lot of options.
Yeah, Pugna's a cool hero. It's been interesting to see more and more teams
10 seconds
sort of
remaining.
picking it up.
Yeah,
right.
it is really powerful.
Yeah.
Really powerful
5
hero.
seconds
If you recall,
remaining.
VG.Thunder actually lost to the Pugna against DG. There was Morphling, another one of those hard to kill heroes, and yeah, I assume NEWBEE want to just ramp up the pace at this point because you don't really want to play the scaling game against Morphling and OD, especially with a hero like TB out of the pool. But
yeah, Gyrocopter's looking like if this goes too late, he's just going to get
seconds
bursted.
remaining.
Right, that's the issue that he's going to run into. The OD and the Morphling's damage is just going to keep on getting higher and higher and higher as things goes on. NEWBEE still have tons of reserve time left here to consider what they want to go for. They aren't very cooldown reliant at all, and I think it would be probably a good idea to keep it that way, right? You're looking at the VGJ.Thunder side, they have some relatively long cooldowns, the Epicenter, the Sanity's Eclipse, so if they can just sneak under that, I think that would be a great way to play this match.
If I'm thinking like if I were Team Liquid, for example, I would say like Kuroki's looking at the anti-mage very strongly right now. Just giving them a Matuma Mendes Jaro and saying, okay, we can play the AM to scale way harder than them. This AM will easily become the strongest hero 25 minutes into the game. They could also go for PL. It's pretty hard to kill a PL this game, although Kunkka X is like one of the better identifiers of the real PL. So they can go for that kind of scaling option in which they have the strongest hero 25 minutes down the road. or they can just go for the fast-paced game. In which case, once again, I would vie for something like the Pugna.
Yeah,
It's
the
very
Pugna
good
is
against the
actually
OD.
banned, by the way. We didn't notice, but yeah,
VGJ.Thunder
got rid of it there. I guess people are thinking about it now because it feels to me like EG have been running a lot of Pugna. Fnatic have also been loving their Pugna recently. Does definitely seem like a very trendy hero right now, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see Pugna popping up at DAC.
Oh yeah, for sure. With the patch coming as well, it's gonna change a couple heroes as well, and yeah, it's gonna be right through the major. Now that I think about it, Invoker.
Choose your hero.
Yikes. I'm not a fan of this hero.
I'm not
a
fan.
But NEWBEE played well.
Yeah, I don't think this hero is that strong at the moment. I do have to give a shout out, of course, to the Abed.
Oh yeah, the recent Fnatic.
Yeah, the recent Fnatic versus NEWBEE series. I'm personally a pretty big NEWBEE fan, but I really have to give him some props for how well he played in that game. I still maintain that I don't think Invoker is a very strong hero at the moment. If you pick an Invoker in my pub, I'm like, oh god, please, why couldn't you just pick a good hero? SCCC, of course, is a very, very solid Invoker player, but I think the other problem in this game is that haven't they slowed their lineup down a lot? I mean, it's good with the Nyx.
Yeah.
It's okay with the Naga. They've got some Sunstrike set up, but now they have to wait. And the waiting game is, I think, a good game for VGJ.Thunder.
Yeah. So I think that basically it's going to come down to this Nyx and the Gyrocopter creating a lot of space. And for them to do that this game, they have to play like gods. This Nyx is most likely going to... He's going to start this game by just mana burning the OD at mid, giving the Invoker a good lane. And then the Gyrocopter is just going to have to snowball his lane hard enough that he can run at the Morphling like infinitely throughout the game and not let him free farm. Because if they let the Morphling and the OT farm slowly while holding their towers, eventually like the team fight's going to break out with a Sand King or Kunkka initiation, and it will be hard for Invoker until he gets a BKB.
Yeah. So it is, in fact, the position for Nyx Assassin, and they're going to be playing this off-lane Naga Siren. I'm interested to see what kind of item build KP goes for overall.
They're just going to copy VP here. So as you mentioned, it's the fabled KPI Naga, but it's not going to be in the same form of the old Radiance micro stuff. No. Right now, the build is definitely like you just go variations of like Spirit, Vessel, Solar Crest, Mana Boots, Blink, Meteor Hammer, obviously the biggest one. And you just go around. You're stunned with a guarantee. You know, it's like you stun 2 heroes, and the fight is good.
Whatever your team needs, basically, right?
Exactly.
She's kind of got enough of got enough int growth. You've got enough baseline stats that you can really build up whatever your team needs from the offlane. You could see a 4-staff, whatever the option's going to end up being. So we got a little bit of scouting coming out here. Sylar going to trade some hits. How is the bounty run situation going to end up playing out? All right, KP just going to retreat for his, and looks like both teams going to get the bounties on their side of the map. See straight into the block. OD versus the Invoker. I mean, not a matchup that we see a ton of because we just don't see that much of the Invoker recently. It's not really a clean 1v1 this game, like you've been saying. But how do you feel about the matchup, or at least this lane?
I mean, the Nyx Assassin is just going to be the greatest factor, right? He's going to mana burn this OD, and it's just going to win the Invoker the lane for sure. The OD will CS, but it'll be less than the Invoker, and that's the most important thing. Because as long as Invoker gets his CS and gets his denies, and he's eventually going to go to the jungle and like exponentially increase his farm. Whereas OD kind of has to just sit in lane.
Well, like we were saying, Kunkka's just sitting in the trees up top. Not having a great time. Faith does come running forward, wants to harass into the Sand King a little bit, but Kunkka now makes his presence felt. For the OD this game, do you think he should be... Are we looking at like an Astral Max first? Accelerate your farm that way a little bit, or just holding on to some casual points early on and then getting into the Arcane Orb quickly? Oh, I missed the first blood as they actually dive onto Faith and somehow kill him off. I don't know how that happened. First strike into a Torrent, I suppose, and just right-clicking him down the whole while?
Yeah, I honestly don't know either, but he did get the Maledict earlier, as we saw. But he was just going for the harass potential. He had no deterrent from the stun. Probably just got overstepped his bounds.
Cocky getting level 2, gonna stun up onto the... Oh, now they get the turnaround, though, with Fade coming in. Perfect 2-man Torrent as CCC tries to stand his ground and just right-click down freeze. Can he do it? One more volley would be the kill, potentially. But no. Oh my god, Kunkka already having so much impact so far. Find that first blood, immediately run mid. Get that turnaround there. Fade, putting in work.
So, on the topic of the skill build that you're talking about, right now the most common OD build is actually just to go Q and E first, as soon as possible. You want to have this orb to be able to shove out the enemy mid laner,
DDC
just
getting
by
going
doing
on. KP does have the Riptide. DDC's pretty low. He's stuck in a creep wave. One more auto attack's going to do it. Position 4 is moving around everywhere and actually finding quite a lot of kills so far.
Yeah, good movements for him. Kaka really came down for the bounty rune, and they were able to just get a catch on the squishy Jakiro. Not that squishy actually, but I guess with the Riptide as well as 2 heroes just banging away, the intel heroes are usually going to die.
Yang dropping pretty low here. Does have a salve. He's just been trying to drag this wave the entire time. Faith giving him
the business.
Yeah, definitely the business. Torrent gonna connect on mid, but they do have Kaka just around the corner, and Freeze has a 3rd health and no mana, so not a whole lot that he can really do. He was rolling for a couple of orb, essence orb procs earlier, but didn't get any. Only 2 points.
It's okay. He's doing the Somnus M build. It's the one where he just very non-stop rounds of clarities and mangles to the mid lane.
Torrent is going to land. Sand King's going to die. We're going to keep our eyes on SCCC. He's going to get X'd up. Freeze, is he going to go for it? No, he doesn't want anything to do with that. So, alright, we did end up losing the Sand King over top. Yang just TPing right back in. How did he die? Just got Rocket Barrage down.
Yeah, honestly, this is not a good matchup. It's not a good matchup for Sang. It is in a sense that if it's 1v1, he can bully the Gyrocopter, but 2v1 or 2v2, this is Gyrocopter's range.
Moogie getting caught, taking some damage. Just going to go for the TP out, but there is the X marks the spot from Fade. Moogie, I don't know what he was thinking. And he's just going to accept his fate. Gets right to death. Doesn't even move. He's like, oh, I didn't check the Kunkka's levels, guys. My bad. I'm dead. See ya. And now his TP's on cooldown. So
yeah, that is pretty bad overall. I was going to say a classic mistake, but I'm going to hold that thought.
Yep, we're Torrent. Faith also in trouble. Kaka going to try and help out, but he's already dead, and now they just turn their attention over towards this Nyx Assassin. Body blocks from Fade. The stun is going to come in. They've still got 1 point in the X. Another Burrow Strike. Yang just wreaking havoc up here, and Fade going to pick himself up a double kill. VGJ.Thunder absolutely annihilating this top lane with 3 back-to-back kills.
I just wanna reiterate that sequence. They actually just lost one hero like 1 by 1 in like 15 to 30 second sequences.
Cool.
The last time I saw heroes die like this, hold on, Yang.
He's going to try and burst strike himself forward, but they got the homing missile catching up. Fade is looking for the turnaround. He's taking a lot of Maledict damage though. Looks like this last tick is going to finish him off. The Moogie getting turned around on. DDC's got a haste. 2 points up in the dual breath, and looks like the Gyrocopter is just going to get right-click down. Moogie going to try and juke for it, but it's not going to happen. And now Faith has to be able to dodge this Torrent. Does manage to get the Paralyzing Cask out, so that's going to save his life. But still, losing their Gyrocopter yet again. Moogie having a pretty rough time so far in the early game. And not the same case for Sylar. He is just free farming down at bottom.
Man, more aggression coming in here. 3 versus 3 at top.
Yeah. Still yet to see any Sunstrike involvement from SCCC. He's actually been kind of low on mana. Kaka gonna get caught by the Torrent into the Burst Strike. Do they have the lockdown? Faith might be able to turn this one around. Kaka's still holding his stun. Gonna use it now. Finds the 3-man. They've also got the homing missile, but Kaka's just super low. Gets brought back by the X. And DDC finishes it with that long-range attack. VGJ.Thunder, so much pressure up on this top lane.
Their trialing of this with the Sand King here is really strong, by the way. Anytime they decide to X or stun a target, they will 99% die. And honestly, Witch Doctor as a whole is just not enough of a deterrent. And the Nyx Assassin didn't have cast, he didn't have Carapace as well, because he's still only level 2. So,
yeah.
So he's finally rotated down to bottom here. But I'm not sure how much pressure he can really put on Sylar. This matchup, like, this Naga really can't do anything against the Morphling.
They land the stun, bursting him a little bit. He's got 2 points up in the Morph. He's going to start using it now, just getting right-clicked a bit. But with the waveform, he's going to be okay. I think the big thing for Kaka there is, like, VGJ.Thunder are being way too successful at keeping the supports away from the other lanes. Fade even going to go for the turnaround here on SCCC over at mid. Freeze getting a couple of procs, getting lucky, trying to right-click him down. SCCC is going to finish the kill, though, and they don't actually have the damage. Oh, no, Fade. Thought his OD could contribute a little bit more in that situation, but
yeah. I think they didn't account for the magic stick charges as well. And you know what? This is when you have the blessing of the Dota gods right here. Do you see this base skip? Oh, game winner. Hey, winning the game. Nice play. Nice play.
Yeah. I think that's the other reason. We were talking about no Sunstrikes from SCCC. He's actually been just using all of his mana nonstop on Forged Spirits, and spamming Cold Snap, so hasn't really had the mana spare. We got Yang in trouble up top. He's trading blows with Faith. He's got that Maledict on him. 14-1 charges, though. I think he might be okay. Burst Strike's off cooldown. Kaka finds the follow-up stun from the trees, though. And they will finally bring down Yang. And NEWBEE straight into a 3-man shrine. That's some value right there.
And do you see SEC? He's actually getting ganked up by the Kunkka non-stop, and he's just sitting there and holding his ground and fighting. As you said, he's just spending his mana on Cold Snap as well as the Forge Spirits, but the most important thing for Invoker is always to try and have lane contestability where he can. So he's doing a good job.
But Freeze is just super low, and Kaka comes in straight into the stun. They lose the OD. Do they have the damage to kill SCCC? Yang's got the Burst Strike, but they're unwilling to dive into the tower. SCCC straight into the triple quas, just healing up the entire time. He's pretty tanky with the item build as well, buying lots of little items early on. Gets the full Aquila, picking up the wand, started with the null. He's actually fairly hard to go on.
Do you know what? I'll be completely honest. You know what I think is happening? Like, they dominated top lane so hard, but Freeze is having a really hard time. Like, the 2 levels behind in the Invoker, almost 3 now. And he's thinking, like, I can't win this lane, but I can dominate this guy because I'm OD against an Invoker, right? Like, you have this orb, you can actually just keep hitting him. He's probably yelling at his teammates to come help him because, like, this kill is that easy. And that's why Yang probably went mid, even though he was dominating top. Starting to wonder if this is going to spell disaster.
In trouble. Just getting Rocket Barrage down. The Maledict is going to finish him, or the right clicks will instead. They don't even need that Maledict damage, really. And VGJ.Thunder just kind of feeding in their lanes at this point. SCCC has more denies than Freeze has last hits.
Yeah, honestly, they're starting to crumble quite hard. And I know they do have the Morphling, the strongest hero in this game. But if they lose the other lanes like this, NEWBEE just might be able to pull ahead and, like, they take the towers, they run at the Morphling, take his tower before the Morphling has any like real items like Linken's +1. And that might just be good enough for the Gyrocopter and the Invoker.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. They're crumbling pretty hard. It's not a good thing.
I'm just shocked at how hard SCCC was winning this lane. Because I was about to talk about, like, oh, Thunder are doing a really good job of keeping the NEWBEE supports pinned at top, right? By just constantly tri-laning up there. Because that should give VGJ.Thunder the opportunity to win in their 1v1s. But not really the case with how this mid lane's been going. Fade gonna come in again. Alright, they do have some dust. They're going on to SCCC. He's taking the right clicks. They're also gonna rotate in the Morphling, but KP gonna stop the fun with the song. They've also got a Meteor from SCCC invoked up. Gonna drop that down. That does decent damage. Tyler needs to be careful. He waved in. It's gonna be off cooldown in a second. He should be able to wave out, but Kaka catches him with the stun. And he's ticking down somewhat. Will now finally get it off. And I think Sylar will be alright. 4v4 on the mid lane. Almost everybody rotating across. Nice TP in from KP to save his Invoker there.
Man, this is such a scary sight. Who made the call to call in this Morphling into the sequence? I can't believe it. I'm sure Freeze is probably just going nuts right now. Like,
everybody's tried to come and save mid, right? Like every single player on the map from VGJ.Thunder has made an attempt to come and kill SCCC and set up the kill for Freeze, and none of them have worked. And Freeze is just going to take the bottom lane now. He's done.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to lane against SCCC anymore.
Yeah. This is such a Chinese thing, honestly. An NA team, like, the carry would have never leave this lane to try and salvage like this. Like, I don't even think it was a great play. It obviously turned out to be not a great play because KP had a good reaction with the sleep. But overall, like, it's not a play that you want to make as a Morphling, right? You want to be sitting here either pushing this tower or porting to the off lane, killing their carry, and then taking that tower. Because that move just now had pretty much zero follow-up for him, and that's what hurts Morphlings the most. Like, these hyper carries that want to sit in lanes, just get their farm up. So he is in the off lane now, and he's going to do pretty well against Gyro just because he's a Morphling. It's ahead, but it's a shame they couldn't get the Invoker kill that we're looking for.
Yeah. Ooh. Kaka coming in. He's already grabbed his level 6. Faith just around the corner. They know that Sylar's here, so it's a little bit of a dangerous ghost. Sylar actually going to get gone on here. Can they burst him down in time before he gets out of the morph? He does just get gone on and bursted. Nothing that DDC can really do. He's got 1 point in the ice path. But... oh, yeah, man, now Sylar's game is turning around really hard. They have managed to catch KP over in the jungle. Can this be a first kill for the OD? Looks like it should be. A couple more right clicks with the orb. Oh, he misses. KP's still running, and Yang's going to take it. Oh, no.
He's so mad right now. He is so mad right now. But you see why Morphling doesn't want to be in this lane, right? It's entirely because even though he's good against Gyro, like, all these heroes are just going to come. They're going to assume this Morphling is a free kill. And they will kill him, and they will try to push the tower. Because this is the easiest lane for NEWBEE to do it. So.
And the NEWBEE supports, now both with level 6, have so much kill potential. Kaka just going to rotate around behind. Sylar using the waveform aggressively. They do lose SCCC elsewhere. Kaka now with the stun follow-up. Morphling getting brought down. Sylar morphing for dear life. Does manage to shove back Fate. The call down also going to come in. Yang with the turnaround TP. Does get the burrow strike out, and they will end up finding another kill. I don't know what killed off the Invoker at mid. Actually, it was... So Yang rotated mid. TP top got another kill. Mugi's now caught with the X. They're going to bring him back. Yet another burrow strike. Waveform through. Looks like Mugi should be brought down. Going to do as much damage as he can before he drops. But VGJ.Thunder now finding 2 up here on the top lane. Maybe pushing lanes meanwhile. KP going to chip away at this mid tier 1. But Thunder taking that kill lead back.
Yeah. Oh, that was actually Morphling in a nutshell right there. Just surviving a 3-man gank, right?
Survives like 3k plus damage.
Yeah. Right there, Morphling in a nutshell. And now he's gonna try to heal up. Obviously, he has to watch out for Sunstrikes this game, so he doesn't want to go down to like 1 HP. But yeah, he's able to push this tower down with the Jakiro and the help of the rest of his teammates. Now this is a good lane for him.
DDC put down a ward that's immediately going to get dewarded. KP getting caught.
In the Ancients area, yep.
Yeah. Man, I'm missing so many kills. It's just that everyone's dying everywhere.
Yeah. I don't know, man. These teams are both very aggressive right now. Obviously, Freeze is... In my mind, he is the... what do you call it? The facilitator to these aggressions. You know, he probably just wants people like in his lane right now because he's losing, kind of thing. And now he's lost all of his mana because he's got 3 points in Essence Aura and he's got 2 points in Arcane Orb. Never do this, by the way, guys. You always want to leave Arcane Orb at level 1 if your Essence Aura is 3, and if it's 4, then you can get away with 2.
Yeah, it gives you the base mana as well, right? So it is actually also increasing your damage by getting more points. Oh, get a Sentry Ward pop down here. DDC spots Kaka. Can't really go on him.
You also notice Freeze's items. He's going for Midas as well. Not a big fan of the item, but yeah, it's like at the same time, this game he needs it. You know what I mean? He has to play catch up. He has to AFK farm. Like he's not gonna get that much space with the next assassin running around in the game. And sure enough,
Sunstrike. Faith looking for the follow up. Freeze does have 4 wand charges, but that's not going to be enough to save him. And the cask even bounces back. Insult to injury. They will also end up losing SCCC at mid lane, though. That's a 4-man gang from VGJ.Thunder connecting nicely, transitioning into this tier 1 tower push. KP paced it up. Could set things up with the Song of the Siren, but I don't know if they really want to try for that. So just both mid laners being brought down. And Freeze, at the very least, he's a slightly lower level, so he's going to be back up a little bit faster. Gotta look.
I mean, it's a hard game for him at this point, right? The laning phase was essentially the best point of this game where the OD could have excelled, and it just got botched for whatever reason, right? They made a couple all-in attempts on the Invoker. He turned it single-handedly and alone. And then obviously, like when the team kill attempts happened, there was like the Naga deterring it, or they still fought and lost. The end result is he's going to be playing catch-up against the Nyx Assassin, who's off the map at all times. That's a very scary thing to think about.
Yeah. And SCCC just going to keep on farming. He's going for a Yule Scepter. I haven't seen a Yule's Invoker for a little bit. Tends to be kind of Midas, straight into Ag, straight into BOTs. What do you think the main reason for the Yules is this game? Yeah.
Okay. And probably the Morphling as well. Like, he can't just 100-0 you if you're fast enough with the reactions. And if you know SCC's reactions, like this guy's reaction speed is amazing.
Well, Fade gonna run into Faith here as they were trying to smoke in between the towers. Sunstrike not gonna connect. Faith's gonna be left for dead. Kaka's just gonna keep on running. Yang picking up the dominating streak. And does already have his Blink Dagger picked up. It looked like they were gonna try and set up to push down this mid tier 1 tower over on the Thunder side, but instead just gonna scatter and go continue farming for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean that was real ambitious if you think about it. They didn't. They place a ward. I guess it got countered by the sentry. Not sure, but really deep in that play. So they have the Immortal going at top. So.
Yeah, they want SC gonna jump on him now. Torrent, Boat. He's not even gonna get out of the chain stun before he's dead. The Sand King's movement has been so crisp this game, have to say. Big credit to Yang. KP trying to catch out DDC. They don't really know if they can get the Sylar kill. They will get the tower deny. They stun him up, but he does manage to get the morph strength off, so he's pretty tanky. Mugi going to keep on chasing. Sylar tries for the TP out, but it's not going to be successful. There's way too many interrupts here. Sylar, well, all he can do is just keep on waddling forward, but one more auto attack from Faith brings him down. And NEWBEE will get the deny and the turnaround. Nicely done. Cost them a pretty big rotation, but...
Yeah. In the end, they did lose the Invoker as well. And I don't really expect this of any Morphling player. But the godlike player there would have been to morph into the Nyx Assassin, use Carapace, and then take off and dispel yourself as well from like the urns and other stuff.
Yang gonna try and play his way out of this one. Can he get the blink off in time? He does. The homing missile still chasing. Still chasing. Is he gonna get sunstruck? Yes. SCCC was just waiting for it.
Yeah, nice kill for him. But yeah, like this Morphling, if he was a god, he might have been able to survive. It would have been a really crazy play to see. The nice thing about this hero right now is like you can morph and dispel all those negative buffs on you, and then you can obviously use the spells off cooldown as well, and have a second set of HP bar. It's just crazy if you can use it right. But he's been overtaken on the net worth leaderboard. Like the Invoker's at the top now with Yules as well. He's going for the Aghanim's next. And this game is starting to look a lot more even than I had expected to be after the drafting phase.
Yeah, it's pretty slow game in terms of towers, right? We're 17 minutes in. We've only got 3 tier 1s taken. All the cores across the board finding decent farm. Is there one timing specifically that you're looking at here for either team where they like really have to go or really want to go? Because it seems
right
like
now,
VGJ.Thunder are content to just farm, but NEWBEE are running
Yeah.
them.
That's right. As I said before, like this Gyrocopter actually has to make a lot of space with Naga for this Invoker to keep farming and getting online, because Invoker is the main carry. The only problem is like their initiation comes in the form of a Nyx Assassin, so if there's a sentry or like good positioning from VG.Thunder, it's just really hard to get that jump. Whereas they have like VG.Thunder has Sand King and Kunkka. These are like 1,000 cast range / initiation heroes. But here comes the fight.
That's a Naga illusion. Yang couldn't really test it with the smoke, unfortunately, and now he's going to get stunned up, locked down a little bit. They've also got the net. Nicely done with by Faye. Does have the Glimmer Cape to keep him safe. KP getting looked at, but alright. This could end up being a disengage on the mid lane.
Alright, so just one tidbit here is that if you're a Nyx Assassin and you're ever ganking a Sand King, you want to actually just pop Carapace when he's going to trigger any of the Caustics or when he's Sandstorm, because they will always stun themselves. And then you can always guarantee your Vendetta hit as well as the Impale. Because if he did that, the Sand King would have died for sure there.
Yeah. Mugi on the run. It's fast enough to get away at bottom. And NEWBEE looking like they're priming for maybe another aggressive movement. They do have this Meteor Hammer now picked up on KP, so keen to get a free fight win out of that if possible. And VGJ.Thunder looking like they might actually oblige. They got a 4-man push coming down bottom. Sylar in the front line with his Linkins. Kaka being cautious of sentries, so just hanging back near the tower. And they will also be bringing SCCC to bear if they can get the initiation. But like you're saying, it's troublesome when Nyx is your primary form of initiation.
Right. They just don't have something that gets in right away. You know what I mean? With all these sentries down, you just never know if you're going to be the one that's dying or the one that's getting a big stun.
NEWBEE with the quick D-ward. They will just barely manage to catch the Observer and the Sentry with their own Sentry. And looks like they're just going to keep on playing down here on the bottom side. They got a Naga illusion kind of pushing out mid lane a little bit. Top side of the map completely ignored by both teams. Freeze has managed to move up the net worth chart somewhat. He was bottom 3 or bottom 4 before, and now he's managed to get about halfway up. He is just rushing BKB, though.
He has to, yeah. If he wants to fight this game, he absolutely needs it, right? Because at this point, this Nyx Assassin is just going to be the bane of his existence. Just imagine if he tries to Sandy these Eclipse, and then Nyx gets a Carapace off, he will just die.
Does he do enough without a Force Staff or a Blink or anything?
No. In terms of like damage, not necessarily. But at the same time, it's like, if he still gets hit by a stun in these fights, he will just die to the AoE, literally. Because he's so behind.
So this lets him do something, at least.
Exactly. It lets him participate in the fight, which he otherwise cannot participate in.
He still wants to hold on to those BKB charges, of course.
Oh, he's going so deep, though. This kid, like, if he dies here, this is a very classic mistake. You can't be this deep alone.
Mugi coming in, they get the stun straight into the Sunstrike, and he's bursted. They did have the team coming around the corner, but they're a little bit too far away. Looks like they are going to try for the turnaround kill. They go for the Nyx Assassin. Burst him down. Mugi trying to find a hidey hole in the trees, and looks like he might have done it. They spot him, but they can't get an X or anything off to lock him down. And VGJ.Thunder will only get the support kill as they lose the bottom tier 2 tower. Another tornado coming in on the DDC.
Oh, yeah,
Yang with the turnaround. Nice 2-man stun. The Yules is going to come in just in the nick of time. The epicenter does not come out, and now SCCC able to ghost walk his way out to freedom. KP just barely managing to TP in the fog. Fortunately managed to get the sleep onto Fade.
most important thing for them was they were able to secure that tower, and they have 2 really well-placed wards in the Radiant jungle. So they're gonna constantly look to play around that area. Actually, did they just lose a ward? I think it just expired or something. It was right above the tier 2. But, still gonna have presence there because obviously Nyx is gonna be walking around with his invis. He does have to be wary of sentries and where his teammates are as well. Now they're on the opposite part of the map, but generally they want to just camp this area and make sure the Morphling isn't doing what he's doing right now, which is just farming this lane and then kind of proceed to split push as well.
How much damage is the Sunstrike at this stage? I think that's the math that NEWBEE are doing right now. They're like, can we instantly burst this Morphling? Fade, getting gone on at mid, but still surviving, courtesy of the Glimmer Cape, and now just going to lay down the Death Ward, forcing them all the way back. DDC caught on the opposing high ground, tries to combo down Faith, but he's still surviving. He's going to get netted up, straight into the Sunstrike. He will manage to use himself to buy a few more seconds, but looks like SCCC just going to get that kill the old-fashioned way, right-clicking him down Sylar. Spots Faith in the river, bursts him instantly, and it's just going to be the 2 position 5s traded away.
So just a standard sequence there. I guess the nice follow for NEWBEE here is that they're going to go straight into the Roshan. The Naga song is down, so if Thunder decide to contest it, they can definitely do so.
Yeah, still 70 seconds to go. KP is still going to be scouting around on the outside. He's got his illusions, keeping tabs on everything. NEWBEE do take this pretty quickly.
Yeah, they're actually just not contesting, huh? I almost feel like they're not aware of it. If you see their positioning, they think NEWBEE's smoking into them. And that's probably the logical conclusion. Oh no, that's a free Roshan.
I think NEWBEE's team is actually better at Roche than you would maybe think. Oh, Nyx Assassin getting caught out here. Kaka gonna pop a spike Carapace, counter initiating a little bit. Yang not gonna get caught by the missile, does manage to blink away. That's nice for him, and now they've actually got the lockdown onto SCCC. He's not the one with the Aegis. It is, in fact, Mookie. They're going to drop the Sandy's Eclipse just for the Mana Burn mostly, not really doing any damage. Sylar does become the Gyrocopter. He's on the front line doing good damage to Mookie, but how much more can he really do? NEWBEE just retreating back. They're healing up a little bit with Faith. But that is the BKB popped for Moogie. And Sylar just showing how much potential his hero does have against the Gyrocopter. He pretty much 1v5'd that fight, it felt like.
Yeah.
Sandy's Eclipse did nothing. The boat...
Literally nothing.
Yeah. The boat kind of...
He hit a BKB Gyro too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was not a good look for VGJ.Thunder. I don't even have the BKB just yet for Freeze. It's not even delivered. But then we do get repelled there at a pretty crucial junction. I think it's just tough for them to be pushing up this hill, right? Pretty narrow choke point. They're playing against Sand King, who they know just survived Freeze. Oh my god, getting caught out. Can they get him out of here? Yang trying with the 4-step, but doesn't make it up onto the high ground. Freeze now going to pop the BKB. Tries to turn around and right-click. He doesn't even have the Arcane Orb on just yet. Moogie does get locked down. The Song of the Siren looks to disengage. And that's just going to be a 10-second BKB, somewhat wasted. VGJ.Thunder, what can they really get? Now it's their turn to try and push up onto the high ground. And they also won't be able to do it. What is this awkward dance that is happening on this top side of the map?
I don't know, but I'll be honest. I'm a little disappointed towards the end there. Freeze should have Astral imprisoned the Moogie. And as the song was expiring, he would have resurfaced back onto this realm, and they would have definitely had a fight with the Aegis. A little disappointed he didn't Astral him. But regardless, it's going to be a tower push for NEWBEE. And now that the dust has settled, there are a few ultimates that are missing on the side of Thunder. So, along with the BKB.
Trying to combo onto the Nyx Assassin, but he manages to, not even using himself, somebody else using him. Not great coordination there on the VGJ.Thunder side. That means Kaka actually still surviving. DDC is going to be the first one brought down. They've got the Cold Snap onto Sylar. He needs to be careful. The Sunstrike's waiting for him up on the high ground. Moogie's just about to be brought down by the homing missile, but that's just the Aegis. KP running forward aggressively. They get the epicenter on the back lines, bursting down a couple. Yang, is it enough damage? They also got Freeze right-clicking onto KP. He gets the Meteor Hammer down onto 2. Sylar dropping low, but he still wants more of this fight. He does actually have his E-Blade back off cooldown, and more stuns from Yang. This time around, finding 3 yet again. Faith turns around with the Paralyzing Cask. SCCC just can't really do anything. He's forced to sit inside the Ghost Walk. Moogie trying to fight with his BKB. SCCC throwing out defensive abilities. Freeze will be able to get the imprisonment off. Fade does not have the Torrent, but the waveform through, and Sylar will pick up the double kill. NEWBEE getting dragged in there into close quarters against the Sand King, and Yang absolutely cleaning up.
So I wasn't paying attention to the Invoker, the entirety of his kit usage, but I was wondering where the Deafening Blast was, because I feel like at any point, if there was a Deafening Blast on the Morphling and or the OD, they could have just completely turned the fight. Regardless, SCC was kind of running for the majority of the fight because he knows that if he gets stunned up by either Sand King or Kunkka, they might just burst him. So good positioning by him. Unfortunately, he loses all of his teammates.
Yeah, not a very pleasant outcome for that fight. A couple of BKB charges also being used. Gyrocopter down to 8 seconds. Kaka's hunting for Sylar down here at bottom. They're going to interrupt his TP. Why not? Actually, Sunstrike now coming in. He's stunned for a little bit too long. The Lingot is not going to help him out, and now SCCC looking for more Fade, able to get into the Glimmer Cave, but that's only going to last a couple more seconds, and SCCC's on the hunt. The Dust does not connect, but now the Yules into the Ice Path, to the Ice Wall, sorry, along with the Cold Snap, and Fade is long dead. He's going to accept his fate. SCCC picking up a mega kill streak with a double kill.
Yeah, and that was a real free one because the Morphling was just TPing, looking away from his screen. Here's the thing about the TPing against the Nyx Assassin too, is that whenever you're TPing against the Nyx, you actually have to just watch your hero. Because the moment a Nyx will see your TP, they'll always try to hit you with a Vendetta first. And if you're really, really fast, what you can do is after the Vendetta hit, you can actually dodge the stun. And that's usually enough to survive, no matter what. So most of the time, the problem is when you're TPing away, you're looking at the place that you're TPing, right? So it's really difficult.
Yeah, and Sylar dead for 20 seconds. That's going to be a completely free tier 2, and now Freeze is the one getting run at here by SCCC. Doesn't manage to catch him with the tornado, but he still suspects that he's up here, and it's going to be a BKB TP out. Freeze not going to mess around, and NEWBEE will be forced to let him go. But they know that the BKB is on cooldown now, so 60-second window for NEWBEE to potentially look to take even more.
And they'll just pressure the tier 2 top. That's the last remaining objective outside of base, and SCC is really, really strong. So he wants to just pressure it himself while the team actually goes to a different part of the map. Ideally, they actually rotate towards the jungle right now with Mugi as well as the Naga, Sard, and Nyx. But yeah. Naga went for a Hood of Defiance. I was thinking KPR was actually going to buy Blink so he can get the Blink combo in. Speaking of combos, yeah. Top lane.
they're comboing something up there, but it's just an illusion.
Comboing something, alright.
Yeah. I almost had the BKB for the Invoker, those couple of kills. And with that, SCCC should be able to actually stand his ground in these fights, right? That was the big problem last fight.
Exactly. He's going to be the strongest hero in that fight for sure during the duration of the BKB. He will definitely kill at least 2 heroes just by himself. He does so much damage right now with the max X Sword as well as like Alacrity right clicks.
They're looking for DDC. Sunster coming in. Kaka setting up. These Nyx Assassin movements have been fantastic from Kaka, and Sylar knows that he can't really chase him down. This feels pretty reminiscent of last game, with NEWBEE just doing that little bit better, keeping all the lanes shoved. You know, this isn't a Radiance Naga Siren, but the illusions are still being very annoying in terms of pushing out the lanes. Invoker is also pretty good at it. And they're creating this nice little pocket of farm for Mugi to just take up the entire Dire jungle and keep getting big. He's just working on a Lincoln Sphere at the moment. Doesn't want to be forced to pop the BKB every single time Sylar looks at him, right?
Yeah, it's also every time Sylar looks at him. That's right. The nice thing about Lincoln's too is that he can put on the Invoker. And once again, like Mugi's job this game is not to be the main carry, SCC is. So he just has to play kind of like that supporting cast or semi-utility type of hero. And Gyro can certainly do that, right? Because he already has so much damage anyway.
Yeah, and everything for the Invoker in this kind of situation. They're setting up Sunstrike kills. They're going to be protecting as much as they can. And you got a Glimmer Cape. No Force Staff or anything just yet. Kaka going for a Yule Scepter into a Blink and not going to be going back for an Ags. This Nyx is actually quite farmed. VGJ.Thunder have picked up a gem. Again, feeling maybe a little bit suffocated on their side of the map, trying to reclaim a little bit of control. Hardly any wards on the map right now. In fact, both teams pretty much sitting on 0 vision. But that's where they use Naga Illusions and the Forge Spirits and all the other little things for NEWBEE are coming into effect.
Yeah, all of these expendable units and summons are going to get so much vision for this Nyx Assassin to get in there and do whatever he wants. So NEWBEE are definitely winning on that vision department, even though they're the ones without the gem.
Yeah. And Thunder wanted this bottom tier 1 tower, but they're not even going to get it. And now Faith, along with these siege creeps and the Forge Spirits, is going to get the tier 2 up top for free. Which is going to make
see what he's doing? Look at how deep he is, right? Like he's just trying to force heroes to come, show, and in the process, he's getting the tower for free as well. So because of Freeze's natural disadvantage to this game from his net worth, like he can't run into this Witch Doctor and just like apply solo kill pressure, which is why he ported at the back of the tower. He also doesn't know where the Nyx Assassin is, so he has to play it pretty safe. But NEWBEE are just winning an all-out on the attrition battle, and I think the next Roshan is going to be the big fight.
They do have enough gold on Sylar to grab a BKB, so Sylar also going to be pretty strong in this upcoming fight. Even going to get X'd so he can TP back and then bring back his BKB SCC
Yeah.
needs to be careful. If he gets stunned, he might not be able to get off that BKB, though KP is going to be just around the corner with the Song of the Siren at the ready. And NEWBEE also going to be picking up a gem of their own, immediately spotting this one of the 2 Radiant Observer wards on the map and getting rid of that.
Yeah, and you know what? After that, they have to know, like, VG.Thunder are probably operating on very low vision.
Yeah. Alright. Trying to make some more X plays. Kunkka gonna head back, grab a couple more items, mana up. Roshan is there for the taking, and NEWBEE have scouted it out. SCC gonna force Thunder to reveal their positioning as he does push up onto the high ground down at bottom. This Alacrity Force Spirit making pretty quick work of the tier 3, and they're just getting ratted to death. It's not it's not a carry Naga, but they've still got more than enough rat on the NEWBEE side.
They have to respond to these. This is the problem. This Invoker with the bots is so mobile now.
Alright, at least they get Kafka. Catch him out with that gem.
Well, BKB though.
Yeah.
So they actually can't do Roshan or anything out of it. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of like the worst feeling. It's like you get a nice kill, you get somebody that's like hunting you and taking over map control against you, and that's all nice and dandy. But they can't still push out the waves past the river, or at least enough to go for a different objective or a different play. So essentially, they're getting nothing but the raw gold and the EXP for that kill, and that's just not enough to crawl back into this game.
A little bit of Sunstrike scouting into the pit, like we're saying. Both teams a little bit low on the vision. Oh, Yang running forward very aggressively, spots Faith, but it is daytime, they see each other. And he'll be able to shoot back to the tower now. SCC is actually hunting aggressively. He's almost got his Hex completed, doesn't have it just yet. Yang can't afford to lose this gem.
Uh-oh.
They're going to catch him with the song. They won't be able to get straight into the meteor, but they've also got this ice wall down, and Sandrum just dead. That's the gem gone. He had his Blink, he had his Force Staff, he had Burrow, he just didn't think that he would get caught.
The timing on that's weird right now. They made it so like you don't always get 100% stun, but there are times when you still can't react, I think. Just due to like the nature of server ticks and stuff. Yeah. Also, there was an ice wall there, so I think that might have been there to deter that also.
Yeah, I think.
But yeah, this is gonna be a good Roshan fight for NEWBEE here.
They're gonna try and contest it though. They do get the Gyrocopter locked down a little bit. No BKB just yet for Mugi. He's still surviving. Macropyre taking them down a little bit. They also buy back on Yang, but all they do is force NEWBEE outside of the pit. And NEWBEE should be able to re-engage before too long. They could even just wait for their Song of the Siren again, but in fact, they smoke up instantly.
This is NEWBEE base game. All they want to do is fight in a situation.
They just want to fight. This is going to be an awkward place to fight, though. Thunder, kind of half on the high ground, half on the low ground. They also smoke. Who finds the angle of initiation? They reveal their positioning a little bit to this Naga illusion, and now Kaka jumps in, doesn't get the stun. He gets Burrow struck up, but he does actually manage to get the spike carapace off. Looks like Yang might be brought down. He uses himself, continues to survive. SCC laying into DDC with the right click. Siler's already popped his BKB, trying to find a way into the fight. He is right-clicking Mugi, but there's 3 NEWBEE heroes right-clicking him down. Freeze jumps in now with his BKB, but Mugi holds on his BKB until the last moment. Now they net up Freeze. They're just right-clicking him down, and as his BKB fades, they should be able to find this kill. Kaka might even look for the spike carapace as he pops out. He won't be able to get the blink off. He is dead. There's now chasing Sylar. He's got the Spirit Vessel, unable to really heal too much. Yang, nice turnaround, gets the epicenter damage in, but SCC saves himself with the Yules. They get the stun of the Sylar, looking to finish him off with the Sunstrike. He waveforms forward. Tornado's not going to find him. NEWBEE still chasing. This is NEWBEE after all, as you were saying, Claire. They get Sylar inside of the base. They're not going to settle for 4. They want all 5. They get Fade, and NEWBEE still looking healthy after all is said and done. They've got their creep wave here. And this is looking like a very easy lane of racks, or even just the game at this point. The Odie just couldn't do anything. He blinked in, popped BKB, and Mugi was like, yes, I will also pop BKB. Good luck.
Yep. When the Odie behind like that from the laning phase, you know, there's just really not much you can accomplish. Some kills coming out here on DDC as well.
NEWBEE feeling themselves here.
I don't know, man. I didn't really see the direction of this series going this way, but I won't lie. Just a couple good moves from NEWBEE, especially in the mid-game phase where they're getting a lot of these chain kills, and suddenly VGJ.Thunder finding themselves tapping out.
Yeah.
Are the outliers in a sense that they pick some of these heroes. They don't care like how mid one or Matuma Man play or how like, they do in their lanes, right? Because they just trust them to catch up or something like that. With Freeze, he's a very farm-oriented player. I've never seen him play like these types of pucks or like just pure utility mids where they just go around with like a low net worth but always try to have a huge amount of impact. And I think this game already, like, it was a pretty good demonstration of that. Like he even had his highest net worth carry poured into his lane to try and salvage a situation. Like that's,
oh, man.
Like you got to be doing something on comms to get something like that going. You know what I'm saying? So I was genuinely surprised that they picked the third, ended up playing against the counters, and wasn't able to make much of it. But that's just the circumstances of Dota sometimes. It's like the enemy just had better rotations.
Yeah. I do have to give some credit to Yang. I think he played pretty nicely on his Sand King, kind of kept them going through the early stages. I mean, he got all those kills up top with the help of Fade. And he needed to have a pretty good game for VGJ.Thunder to have any kind of a chance, right? When you've got Morphling and OD as your two cores, they are relatively
dude.
well. Yeah.
Dude, like he has the highest damage on his team. Him and Fade were pretty much putting the team on their backs, but it just wasn't enough. At the team fights, especially with the BKBs and the Naga deterrents, they just couldn't get the full damage up what they needed to burst down something like the Invoker, for example.
Yeah, it was just so hard for Yang to, as tanking, you want to get in, you get that first Blink Burrow, then you kind of manage to force staff yourself away, reset, find a little hidey hole, wait for your Blink to cool down again, and then you come back in with the Epicenter. And I think the thing for NEWBEE was that they were often just catching him after that first burrow strike. Either he was getting carapaced or he was getting netted, and at that point he can't win the fights for his team. And NEWBEE did such a good job of controlling Sylar, I think, as well in the fights. They were able to itemize so that no one ever really got shotgunned down instantly. They had Yules, they had Glimmer Capes. As soon as they saw that projectile come in, there was always going to be something to block it. And that really hurt the Morphling's game a lot. There were even situations there where we saw Sylar trying to stand his ground and right-click, and he just couldn't do anything. He was right-clicking 2v1 and just can't win that fight. So
yeah. Very, very odd. Again, like Hunka is just not the best. It's not the best forward position for lane shoving and stuff, right? Or applying a lot of kill pressure without a core that does damage. Now, OD is definitely one of the heroes you want with it because OD generally has a large output of damage. But this Nyx Assassin had his impact, right? Like OD's playing with so low mana pool all the time that even his orb doesn't do that much damage. So overall, NEWBEE had a better strat and they executed.
So with that, VGJ.Thunder will not be able to take the #1 spot here in Group B. They're going to end on 6 points. They're still going to move forward in DPL.Top 2018 Season 1, so this isn't the last we'll be seeing of them, but they're going to have quite a lot to prove as we move forward into DAC. NEWBEE, they're not done just yet. They still have another 2-game series against eHome that's going to be happening in about 20 minutes. Claire, I don't know if you want to join me for that one as well.
Basically, I'll be honest. I wasn't planning to, but I enjoyed this cast and I enjoyed watching these games, so I would like to join you for the next series if possible.
Nice. Sounds good. So yeah, so the next lobby's up. NEWBEE now have 5 points overall, so if they win the next one, they could... so even if they win the next one, they can't actually take #1 in the group because they got 2-0'd by IGV. So their best placement is second, but eHome actually fighting for their lives because they've only got 4 points. So if they get, if they actually get 2-0'd, then they are out. Actually, wait, are they out no matter what at this point? Actually, not no matter what. If they 2-0, they can stay in. That's it. I think that's pretty much the case. I'll have a look at it during the break. Any other? But I'm looking ahead too much. Claire, any other closing thoughts on this series for NEWBEE or VG.Thunder?
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate to see VG.Thunder lose coming from the VG Storm side here.
Right.
Our brothers, our affiliates.
Your heart goes out to them.
Yeah, if I have a Chinese heart, it lies with VG.Thunder. But however, NEWBEE, obviously they have the whole like Western fandom going on here. They got some really amiable characters in SEC as well as KPI, who's affiliated a lot with the Western pros and has that image as an English speaker. So shout outs to them. They did a great job. VG.Thunder, ROTK is a great coach. He'll pick them back up in shape. And these losses, the truth is you need these losses and you need to be able to cope with them in order to become like the greatest team. And I'm sure they will be fine.
All right, so with that, guys, we're going to be heading to about a 15-20 minute break. We'll be back with NEWBEE versus eHome, so hopefully catch you for that one. And VGJ.Thunder, well, they're just going to have to set their sights forward onto DAC, kicking off tomorrow. So catch you guys soon.